Welcome to the channel. I'm going to give an update today on how things are going, but first we're going to head to the park. Hi, welcome to Sandra's Sisterhood. I'm Carrie. This is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. The video today is an update just about my life, what's going on as a single person who is childless, not by choice, and then also a quick update on the Grow Your Small Channel Monetization Challenge. So I'll get right to it. It's been a pretty busy month. I have spent more time just trying to get caught up at work. They put a new delinquent notes policy in place, and your girl isn't always the best on getting her notes done on time. So I had to haul ass to finish a bunch of notes before I went out on a short leave from work due to having surgery. I don't know if you can see, I'll cover it back up because it's a little bit gross, but I have a little bit of a scar there on my neck. I had a small procedure just to remove half of my thyroid. Everything is fine, it's all good. More as an extra precaution than because there was something going on that meant that it had to be out right away. Everything turned out fine, but I'm just recovering from that right now. My mom is in town to help me, so that's really nice. Those of you who are single know that it can be difficult when you're sick or recovering from something and you live on your own and you're by yourself. I think not having kids sometimes is a little bit of an advantage because I can just focus on myself, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm recovering from that and really hoping that the scar goes down. I kind of feel like it looks like I tried to, so I'm hoping the scar goes down, which I've been told it should. I am literally like 5 days post-op, so it has lots of time to get better. For my health update, for some of you who watch the channel know that I've also really been working on trying to build muscle mass. Part of the thyroid stuff was just kind of this thread that got pulled about 1.5 years ago related to my health. And once it's like doctors start looking for something, then they start finding stuff. And this thread got pulled and it just kept getting pulled and pulled and pulled. And it was really a wake-up call in terms of the fact that I'm 45 and I need to start taking better care of myself. I need to really do things in order to maximize my health, in order to ensure that I'm mobile for longer, that I'm as healthy as possible for longer. I really feel that generally, but I think the fact that so far I've been doing life by myself, when I think about the future and old age, it really makes me want to be as independent as possible for as long as possible, because I don't know what that's gonna look like getting older. So all of that to say, I went down the rabbit hole of longevity and health and really looked at the fact that it appears that having more muscle mass tends to help the body in a variety of different ways. So I started weight training more, also paying more attention to cardiovascular health. I needed to lose weight anyway. I had gained some weight leading into and just after a hip replacement that I had last year. And so it all kind of coalesced together. I am doing well in that aspect. It's been kind of slow and steady, but hopefully that means it's maintainable versus this like crash and then the burn after. So I've been slowly and steadily and consistently decreasing body fat and increasing muscle mass, and I'm continuing to do well in that area. I've been really focusing on eating protein, hitting enough protein, strength training at least twice a week. I've also been doing some cardio. Again, I do that more for stress management, mental health. I also really enjoy the things that I've been doing, but also trying not to go overboard on that because I want to be sending my body muscle building signals versus trying to keep my body as lean as possible signals. I've been doing well in that area. I can't remember the last stats that I had, but my muscle mass is like 59.1 the last time I took it, and the body fat percentage is still too high. I believe it's 34%, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say that is 5% lower. So really happy about it being 5% lower, but I really started in a crappy place in terms of that. Other thing with the strength training that I'm really excited about is we've started to do like the bench pressing. I'm at low weight right now. I think I'm bench pressing 75 pounds. Definitely have goals to move that way up, but it's a starting point and taking it 1 week at a time. And I'm really excited about that, to learn the big compound lifts and then start to really improve on those as well. You know, I think as an adult, it's hard because you don't have a lot of things in life where there's a lot of goals that are measurable and that you really, it feels like you have a ton of control over. I do feel like health goals are one of those things. And so I'm really looking forward to that. While I'm out on my leave from work due to my surgery, I am also trying to get all of those really obnoxious appointments out of the way. Again, part of the health aspect of things, I'm trying to stay current or get back current on those ancillary appointments that we don't think about as much. So I have an eye doctor's appointment. I also have a dental appointment next week. I haven't been to the dentist in way too long. And then I have a finance appointment with some finance people that I work with. Really looking forward to that. I might do some like finance videos on this channel. I do think finances look a little bit different when you're single and look a little bit different when you don't have kids. And so I check in with somebody, I think biannually, just to make sure that I'm putting money in the right spot and to review my goals. I really find it really beneficial because I think you can just kind of forget what the longer term goals are. And when you put money in the right spot and you're consistent around it, kind of like with exercise, and your gains can start to compound and build off each other, almost like you have to do less in order to maintain or even get better gains. So that's one of the things that I have coming up this week. It's also kind of the end of the year, so good planning around that. Okay, so the next aspect of this video that I'm going to talk about, I can't not talk about the election. What the hell? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I just am really glad it's over in a lot of ways. There was just so much stress and anxiety and just like doomsday stuff coming up around it. It was almost like the worst of ourselves were like in our faces constantly. And I'm one of those people who's not surprised by the outcome. I think one of the like really concerning things is how wrong like polls were, and kind of leads me to think, wow, they just have no pulse on any of that. And we were just fed all of these things that turned out not to be true. I do think it matters kind of where you're looking, and obviously I'm probably looking more at a place that's going to be a little bit more optimistic for the candidate that didn't win, but they were way off, and that feels a little concerning too, I think. For me, one of the biggest things too around this is freaking JD effing Vance is somehow the vice president of the United States. And I'm like, what a joke. You know, this was the guy who made the childless cat lady comment. I think, Trump, I think, sees women the same way he sees any other human being. And it's really that they are vehicles for ways for him to either have sex, feed his ego, or get power. And I think he sees most human beings along those lines. J.D. Vance, I really do think he has a viewpoint about women being in the home, raising children. If they're not doing that, then they're not fulfilling some duty to the culture or to society, that he wants to use shame and guilt and maybe lies in order to get people to narrowly view women in that lens. He's a little more sinister. I don't know if he believes it or not. I can't really quite tell much about him other than he does seem to shapeshift as needed in order to get closer to power. But he is concerning to me. You know, he came out and said that his childless cat lady comment was a, quote, dumb thing to say, but that his larger point stands, that he sees the country moving to a place where we're almost, quote, pathologically anti-child. I mean this really genuinely, but how so, sir? How so? Because I think from my perspective, and again, I have a narrow viewpoint, a narrow window of things, but it does feel like social norms, government incentives, casual conversations, all of these things are actually really set up to assume that women are to have children, and we incentivize it. And that when you're not having children, you're othered, and it can feel very isolating because all of these other things in sort of like that wheel of life are all centered around a woman having children. We talk about tax breaks if you're married, tax breaks if you're having children, the way women socialize, the way women have friends, the way women build relationship and talk to each other, particularly when they're meeting somebody for the first time. It really does revolve around motherhood. And so it's hard to believe that we're pathologically anti-child or anti-kid. It feels like we create a ton of incentives in place, sort of directly and indirectly, in order to emphasize people having children. I will concede that maybe it's different around younger people. You know, I'm interacting with mostly same age people. I don't know if any of you fall into a different generation that may feel it's more anti-child. I don't know. I've not witnessed that. I don't see that. But my perspective isn't the only perspective that exists. I'm a grown-up, and so I'm able to acknowledge that my perspective is not the only lens in which the world exists. Overall, though, it feels like this idea that somehow society is anti-child or anti-children kind of feels like a diversionary tactic for a much different agenda. I'll let you fill in the blank about what you think that agenda is. I definitely have an opinion in terms of what agenda I think really butts up against the need for women to really see themselves as mothers, and that being sort of like the divine role. And if you're not that, then somehow you're some failure. So it feels like it's a way to say one thing but mean another. That's just my opinion. So now to the Sonder Sisterhood monetization update. I last did an update 30 days ago. I did it on October 12th, and my subscribers was 698 on that date. And today I am at 728. So that means an increase of 30 subscribers in 30 days. So I am happy with that. You know, I think this is a very niche channel that's going to grow and monetize at its own pace. And whatever pace that is, I am going to lean into that and trust the process. The really good news is I really like this channel. I like the community that we're building, and I like making the videos. So however it lands is how it lands. I'm really excited to continue to build this community through the holidays. I know it can be a difficult time for some of us. And so I want you to know that you can come to Sandra Sisterhood if you're needing some validation, support, or some encouragement. And subscribe to Sandra Sisterhood for more videos for the single and childless, not by choice person.